USA. In Texas, things come in 3 sizes: big, bigger, and biggest. Including the biggest and baddest prison system in America. With miles of electric fencing, security cameras, and guards armed to the teeth, Texas is the last place you want to end up if you're a criminal. Unless your name happens to be Stephen Russell.
His crime is escaping.
It's almost been like a point of pride with him.
A career con man with a genius IQ of 160. Stephen Russell has left behind him a mile-long trail of bank frauds, identity thefts, and insurance scams.
He's going to show them that he's smarter than they are.
But one cop is determined not to be outsmarted. Investigator Terry Cobbs.
My main priority is Texas prison escapees.
Put your hands on the roof.
A king-size manhunt crossing 3 states and dragging in dozens of U.S. Marshals and special agents begins. Will the king of cons make a fool out of the toughest cops in America? The Estelle unit outside Huntsville, Texas. One of the harshest maximum security prisons in America.
Several times a day, they have to physically see every offender and by name count them off, make sure they're there. The major came to my office and notified me that count had not cleared that morning.
Despite wall-to-wall security, prison staff are shocked to discover that a prisoner has escaped. A most extraordinary prisoner.
I was notified by security that it was Stephen Russell that was missing.
The son of a Baptist preacher, Russell first got in trouble with the law at the tender age of 9 when he set fire to his uncle's garage. Stints in juvenile correction centers failed to quell his thirst for crime, as he piled up felony thefts and frauds. Twice before, he's escaped from jail, once by posing as a workman, the other time by masquerading as a district judge. The question is, how did he do it this time? A call goes out to a man specially trained to track down and capture society's most dangerous criminals. Investigator Terry Cobbs.
When an escape occurs, I drop everything that I'm doing and work on primarily that escape.
He just kind of has a sixth sense about where to look. He won't quit. He won't back off. He's going to finish the job he starts.
Well, on our patch and on our plaque, it has a quote saying, "Let no wanted man go free." And that's just who we are. That's what we're about.
Arriving at the Estelle Unit Jail, Investigator Cobbs begins piecing together the puzzle. He comes across a mysterious cache of magic markers, all of them green. He soon finds out that this is what Russell did with them.
He begins taking art classes, and every time he goes to art class, he takes back a green felt tip pen or green Marks-a-Lot that he stores in his cell.
I'm not sure there was a green marker left on that unit by that time. There was a question about what he wanted all of the green markers for. Offenders have white shirts and pants issued. He evidently had gotten at least 2 of those.
The extra uniform is central to Russell's escape plan, as are the green markers.
He used the cartridges out of those green markers, dyed the 2 shirts and the 1 pair of pants. Medical people that were in and out of that facility had scrubs that were almost the exact same color.
And just like that, Stephen Russell becomes a man of medicine.
And of course, when he walked up to these gates to be let out, he exuded this confidence that he so easily does to just project the air, this presence to people that he is who he's telling you he is.
And to the guard, he looks like a doctor.
And it worked, and he walked right out.
Having morphed into a prison doctor, Stephen Russell, the human chameleon, is on the run. Now with 3 Texas jailbreaks notched in his belt, Stephen Russell has become one of the most wanted men in Texas.
Almost immediately, Terry and the police officers that worked for me were working together to get him rearrested.
With any prison escape, once it's been determined that an offender has escaped from the facility, that warden and his staff will immediately set up a perimeter, however wide he feels or they feel they need to set it. They run tracking dogs. We bring in helicopters. It's a very well-oiled machine.
Cobbs taps into everything he knows about fugitives.
Escapees are desperate individuals, much more so than any other fugitive. They don't have any transportation. They don't have any money. They don't have any shelter. They've got to go get that.
Miles from prison, with hunters nipping at his heels, Russell stumbles onto what he needs most: a one-way ticket out of Huntsville.
Goes to a house there, it's a rural area outside Huntsville, and knocks on the door.
Help you? Hi there. I'm Dr. John Edgewater.
Tells the man who opens the door that he is a doctor at the prison, that he'd been drinking and had a wreck, and needs his help because he'll get in trouble if they find out.
Obviously, if a doctor needs help, you're going to be more apt to help him than just if some other individual that you don't otherwise know comes to your house.
So he convinces the farmhouse owner to drive him into Huntsville.
People are trusting. People have a tendency to believe you. And Stephen Russell preys on that trusting nature in people.
Might be something simple like a hernia.
Along the way, they're talking about the guy's wife's medical problems and what he recommends.
Here's my number.
And Stephen says, well, you should call me later. And let me give you my name so you can look me up.
At the various roadblocks, Cobbs and his men are busy checking every vehicle that passes, including that of the farmers.
Afternoon, sir. We're just looking for an escaped convict.
But the efforts come too late. The farmer dropped Stephen Russell off at a restaurant back in Huntsville 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, hey man, I've got a number. That's it?
And all the fugitives left behind is his calling card.
That's the number he gave me.
Deep into the night, investigator Cobbs hits the books, looking into his fugitive's past. And this is what he discovers. He learns that Stephen Russell has a rather long track record.
He had a series of offenses that I would characterize as cons or thefts, where he was doing something to trick somebody out of their money.
Including The time he almost brought down one of the largest medical companies in the U.S.
Russell sets up a phony business and requests resumes. It's for people to send him resumes so he can steal from those what he thinks work best for him.
Responsible for managing all personnel, providing quality assurance and quality control. That's good.
And so from those, he puts together this master resume.
He sends out his bogus resume and receives an interview for a high-paying job with a Fortune 500 company.
He applied for a job as the chief financial officer at this company, which was a large, well-managed company.
It was a big company.
Clearly, those references aren't real.
But he had set up telephone numbers that would only take messages.
Hi, you've reached Dusty McDonald in Human Resources. If you leave a message after the beep, someone will get back to you as soon as possible.
And then once he got those messages, he would call them back himself as the person he had given the reference of.
Hi, it's Dusty McDonald, Jr. returning your call. Well, let me tell you, I cannot recommend Stephen J. highly enough.
And they hired him, fresh out of the Texas penitentiary, and put him in charge of millions of dollars.
Good morning, Mr. Russell.
Thank you.
Stephen Russell cons him into making him CFO of one of the largest medical management companies in the U.S.
This company managed accounts and had a number of bank accounts with a large amount of money going through them.
He bled that company of almost $1 million, $800,000, before he was found out what he was doing.
One of the officers at North American told me he was one of the best chief financial officers they ever had, except for the fact that he ended up stealing $800,000 from them.
But that was then, and this is now. Cobbs now knows the mad genius he's up against. What he doesn't know is that the mad genius is a mere 10 blocks away at a Houston department store, shedding his old skin and slipping on a new one. With a brand new look, Stephen Russell quietly sneaks out of town. The question is, who will the king of cons become next? Determined to pick up Russell's scent, Cobbs rallies every available cop in East Texas.
We tapped into the U.S. Marshal's office and Houston Police Department and Harris County Sheriff's Office, and they just came together and we had an instant escape posse, so to speak, to go after him.
While the fugitive posse floods the Texas streets, Cobbs takes another route and goes deep into Russell's head.
Of course, he doesn't have the resources when he first gets out. He doesn't have the telephone and stuff like that right away, so he's not just going to call up people on his phone list or whatever and say hi. So he's only going to contact an inner circle that he can get help from. So that's what we're trying to locate, is who is in that inner circle.
In the fugitive's jail cell, Cobbs finds the very heart of that inner circle, the two people closest to Russell. Cobbs starts with his ex-wife, Debbie.
He got married he was fairly young, I think just right out of high school.
But Debbie soon found out that her husband had an interest in men.
While they were living together, his double life sort of blossomed.
Cobb's attention now shifts to the man in the other photo found in Russell's cell, Philip Morris. It seems Russell and Philip Morris have run together in the past, ever since they first met in jail 3 years ago.
Sure seems to have an obsession with Philip Morris, and I think Stephen Russell was just completely infatuated with him. I think Philip Morris got suckered into Stephen Russell's capers. He was the part of the couple, the relationship that kind of tagged along. We could find Philip Morris. More than likely, we would find Stephen Russell.
Stephen Russell has beaten Cobbs to the punch and has taken his lover boy on a joyride. With Lady Luck smiling down, Stephen Russell is moving ever farther away from Houston and his chasers. If Cobbs is going to capture him, he's going to have to do it soon.